to make sure this country turns inside out. And we give this land back to the indigenous. Now I want to talk about NAFTA. I think it's important for y'all to understand NAFTA and its imperialism and what the economic ramifications of NAFTA were for the Mexican people. You must understand that in New York City, you're probably going to find a lot of Mexicans from Puebla. We call it Puebla York. Now you have to understand that that is not by just like some imaginary like coincidence. No, it happened around 1994, around the 90s that our people started migrating here, a little earlier in the 80s. But that had to do with the fact that Mexico started to deprivatize their agricultural system. They were given subsidies, they were given seeds, they were given fertilizer to the farmers. And then we signed NAFTA, and we had to cut all that aid. But you know who didn't cut aid to their farmers? The United States of America. And you know how much aid they give their farmers? About $10 billion a year. Now how can farmers from Mexico who don't get any help from their government compete with agricultural producers in the United States? Now you have to understand we are hijos de maíz. We come from the corn. But y'all don't understand that the majority of corn getting sold in Mexico comes from the United States of America. What kind of twisted fantasy is that? It's no fantasy at all. That's the design of the capitalists. And that's what we're living through. Now y'all have to understand, maybe y'all are guilty of this, walking by homeless people and calling them the Mexican. But to understand that these people come from Central America, Latin America, the Caribbean, Mexico, yes. And you have to understand that they're here violently displaced, sleeping in the streets, sometimes for 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. They've made this a profession. And they've come to just be okay with living in the streets. They think they deserve this because they didn't work hard enough or whatnot. But understand, they are violently displaced. There are unhoused indigenous Chiapanecos, indigenous Mexica people, indigenous Quiche people. There's indigenous people from Ecuador, all concentrated in the South Bronx. We have to understand what they're doing here. How did they get here? How did they get to start sleeping on these streets? We have to understand that, y'all, and understand that this immigration system that y'all see, the one that many people thought they could change by electing Biden, as you can see, it's just by design.
Fuck Joe Biden!
If I'm not mistaken, there's about more than 500,000 deportations that have already been done since the start of Biden, and it's only been 7 months. Now we have to understand that these people are being violently displaced and then being violently deported back to their country where they will be raped, murdered, and live also on the street with way less than they have here. The conditions are different in other countries. Now, another contingent that didn't make it out today was the Haitian contingent. Understand, ICE is a BLM issue, is a black liberation issue, because right now, Haitians are the ones being targeted and Haitians are the ones being deported. And if you didn't know where Biden made that stupid ass announcement that they were gonna have a moratorium on deportations, he made it in Little Haiti in Miami. That's where he made that announcement. A slap in the face to the Haitians, who now have an imperialist dictator also being propped up by the United States of America. See, you have to understand, my people, is that we're not just fighting for ourselves. I'm not just fighting for my material conditions, I'm fighting for the material conditions of everywhere in the world. This is our duty, y'all. We're not protesters. I'm not no fucking activist. Don't call me an activist, it irks me. I'm not an advocate. I don't advocate for nobody. I'm a revolutionary. I'm a fucking revolutionary, and our goal here is to start revolution. And it's not just gonna happen. It's not just gonna happen, like Chase said, it's not just the apple that falls from the tree when it's ripe. You gotta make it fall. And we gotta organize towards that, y'all. Because if anything showed y'all from the last uprising, it wasn't organized. And so it's subsided. But if you organize one and you start to initiate revolution, we can keep it going. We can have supply systems, we can have mutual aid systems, we can have teaching, education, we can teach ourselves. That college, that university system, fuck that. That's not where you get your education. I got the majority of my education on these streets that you're about to walk through today. I got my education on these streets that y'all are about to take today. And I thank y'all all for coming out here today. It is a great privilege to be among the masses. It is a privilege to walk with you. Understand that when you do the work, that this is a privilege. Now, I just want to talk a lot about Sunset Park. There's a reason why we brought y'all here today. You have to understand the conditions here. 9% live in overcrowded households in this community. 9% live in overcrowded households means there's 3 or more people per room. And the COVID pandemic ravaged this community where 38% are service workers. And if 38 are service workers and they didn't go to work, you best believe they're pending eviction. So understand that when you walk through this neighborhood today, this working class barrio, that there are people hungry, unhoused, poor, and they have no recourse, no resources, and they get their back turned to them. Now again, like I said before in Spanish, it is not the police that keeps us safe. And this is something I've had to explain very in depth with the masses. They don't all understand it. It's okay. This is part of our education. Remember that we do this shit by default, the capitalist way. Because it's ingrained in our education. And if you think you're not a capitalist and you went to public school in New York City or in anywhere in the country, trust me, you are a capitalist because you are unbiased by it. You are biased by it. But we can unlearn these things together. Now again, back to this community. We've been fighting developments. They think that this is a community to be developed. This is not no community for others to develop. We are developing this community as we speak right now. As we speak right now, this community is being developed. I want to thank y'all out here today. For real. Because one time we got into it with the Parks Department in this park, and a lot of the vendors here didn't understand why. They thought we were just throwing away their opportunity. They thought we were just gonna get them threatened and targeted. But now we show them that we come back with friends. And we come back with allies and accomplices and people who are gonna turn into revolutionaries and come out here every time there's a need to defend street vendors. And there are revolutionaries here who are gonna take the streets every time Palestine needs defending, every time the black lives are being taken, which is every day. This is what we're out here today, y'all. To show the people what people power really means. And it's not the vote. Y'all all today voted with your feet by coming out here and denouncing imperialism by just even coming over here. So I want to thank you all today. I do have a piece of writing, not mine, that I would like y'all to repeat with me. I do this every time at the plaza. It's just to build camaraderie. It's to build communalism. It's called In La Kesh. If y'all know this one, please, again, everybody is invited to follow along. It starts like this. Repeat after me, please, if you can. Tú eres mi otro yo. You are my other me. Si te hago daño a ti, if I do harm to you, me hago daño a mí mismo. I do harm to myself. Si te amo y respeto, if I love and respect you, me amo y respeto yo. I love and respect myself. Omateo. Omateo is the god of duality in the Mexica chronology. And today, you know, y'all were here in Plaza Tonatiuh. Plaza Tonatiuh is our deity of the sun who blesses us every day. And then there's Tlaloc, the god of rain. And then there's Quetzalcoatl, who saved the people from the fifth sun. Today, y'all are gonna meet Quetzalcoatl. Today, y'all gonna become revolutionaries. Today, y'all will become something different. This is not your average protest today, y'all. This is different. This is all struggles. This is not just about the Mexicanosxunidos. This is not Mexicanosxunidos led. Now this is being led by y'all. Because we're together and we're here in solidarity. Now just to finish, y'all. The way we do this work and the spirit that we do it with is that it's todo para todos y nada para nosotros. Everything for everyone and nothing for ourselves. We don't ever try to profit off of this movement. We don't ever try to profit off of what we do. We don't want anything for what we do. We just want to change the world. And we really want to make it happen soon. Because there's a big sense of urgency. And I get caught up sometimes in what we do. because I've come across so many people who right now who are sitting in pending eviction. You know, people who have no food, no money. They have families depending on them in Mexico, in Central America, and the Caribbean, and they have no recourse here. And so today, y'all, is about them. It's not about us, and what we do today, y'all, is all about the people and what the material needs of this community needs. And it needs housing. It needs housing, it needs better education, it needs more health care. Street vendors need to get the fucking yoke taken off their neck. These are people who get they get fucking billed $1,000 every ticket that they get. They get their stuff thrown out. Not even just by the police, they get stuff thrown out by all the time by just malicious people who come and just kick their shit for no reason. These are people just out here working. And we work hard over here. We do work hard. But for a long time we've been told to work hard and keep our heads down and just keep it pushing. And now, the future, again, I am one of many children of immigrants, and we are here to reclaim the land for our ancestors and to bring it to the people who oppressed our ancestors and who raped, pillaged, and murdered them. And that's all white supremacy. But it's white supremacy fueled by capitalism, and that means that they have endless amount of resources. So here we have to pool ours together in order to make it work. Now I want to thank y'all all for coming out today. We're going to keep it pushing with chants. The vendors are just finishing up, and the vendors are going to march with us. And today we're going to take the streets and just be in solidarity among the masses on July 4th. We don't recognize these borders, y'all. These are colonial borders. We don't recognize these borders.